Let's move on because we're going to talk to Mike Neville now, retired Scotland Yard Detective Chief Inspector. Mike, very good morning to you. I know we're going to talk about the Harry Dunn case in a minute, but let me just ask you first up about this national inquiry business into the grooming gangs and the rape gangs, because I'm wondering, first of all, whether this is going to end up being as good and as thorough as we all want it to be. And I was wondering, from your point of view, police-wise, I mean, what's the minimum that you would need to have, say, from any police investigation to find out whether anybody is guilty of a cover-up, whether anybody is guilty of breaking the criminal code?
Well, there needs to be a look into these investigations. Every major investigation has a decision log where people have recorded what they'll do, particularly things around the media. But also officers can come forward. I mean, I was on with Kevin O'Sullivan last night, and I recounted the tale where I saw a detective superintendent rip out a page of a report, which showed that young black men were more likely to be committing robberies, and that was just ripped out because it was just after the Lawrence inquiry, and that was a way of furthering her career. So some older officers will have evidence, but there'll also be written reports where people have made decisions not to conduct investigations, and these really must be sought out. Maggie Oliver has exposed all sorts of senior officers or former senior officers in the Greater Manchester Police. And it's about time they were held to account, because they deliberately stopped the investigation into the rape, murder and molestation of young girls.
Yeah, indeed. And it's not going to be hard to find these people, because, I mean, she certainly knows who some of them are, and there'll be other people who know who other, you know, sort of potentially complicit people were in councils and in social services and everything else.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of worried people. There are a lot of worried people who literally jumped on the bandwagon after the McPherson report. I saw them myself, ruthless careerists who really didn't care about the community. They cared about their next promotion, particularly in the police. They'd sell their grandmother for the next rank. And I'm sure there's the same sort of individuals in the social services, and it'll be good to see them punished. That's what I'd like to see.
Yes, I think you speak for everybody when you say that. Speaking of punishing people, police admit failures in the Harry Dunn case after an independent review basically found that they prioritised the welfare of the suspect rather than the victim.
Yes, this case, if people remember, go back to summer 2019. Harry Dunn was on a motorbike near an RAF base in Northamptonshire, and a woman, Sacoolas, pulled out on the wrong side of the road. She was an American who'd only been there for 3 weeks, and killed him in a traffic accident. And then she fled the country. And there's been all sorts of failings highlighted. One, that they seem to prioritise that she seemed in shock rather than maybe arresting her at the scene for causing death by dangerous driving, because it would have been pretty obvious that she was on the wrong side of the road. And then there's all sorts of failings involving the disgraced Chief Constable, Nick Adderley, who, of course, was famously booted out for wearing all sorts of medals that he wasn't entitled to as well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for this police investigation, I suppose, is that she was a spy, effectively, we now learn, with diplomatic immunity, and they obviously didn't really know how to deal with that.
Yeah, it's very difficult when dealing with that. I mean, what strikes me here, though, Mike, I was in the military police out in Germany in the 80s, and this sort of thing about people driving on the wrong side of the road was a regular occurrence when a new regiment, was posted to Germany. People were run over because they looked the wrong way. So this happened, but what happened was no one was flown back to Britain. Any serviceman who was involved in an accident like that would face a punishment appropriate to what they'd done. So the whole affair was pretty disgraceful and really impacted on the relationship with the United States. And there was all sorts of disagreements about whether she had diplomatic immunity or not. But Nick Adderley didn't help by sort of interfering in things, undermining the officers who were investigating this and making all sorts of weird statements, which resulted in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office telling him to shut up and not put things out in the media. And all this resulted in the family being let down. And Harry's mother, Charlotte Charles, has been awarded an MBE for a road safety campaigning after this. And the family must be praised for the way that they dealt with the death of their son, and then used it for positive things to try and get things changed regarding road safety and this sort of incident.
Yeah, absolutely right. Great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. We've got to leave it there. Mike Neville there, thanks very much indeed. The former police detective, of course, down at Scotland Yard, retired now.